guys, Sandy here. Welcome back to the channel and welcome back to the Never Ending Kit. So I have my two photos that I'm going to scrapbook, and I pulled out a couple of pieces of paper. When I shoved these into the kit holder, these were kind of chilling next to each other, and I was like, oh, I like that combination. So then I brought in this paper, and I was like, oh, I haven't used a pocket yet. I was like, oh, I haven't used a frame. And then I just started pulling in a couple things. I still have no idea what the background's going to be. But I figured I've got this stuff. I got my photos. I got a basic idea. So let's see what I can do. All right, guys. So I have decided to go with this blue paper as my background. Now, it was not the first piece of paper that I found that I thought would work. I did try pulling out a couple of yellow papers. But even though the yellow looked good with that striped paper that has that little bit of yellow in it, it really did not look good with the other yellow paper that I have down there. And I did not want my yellows to really compete with each other. So I went ahead and used that blue paper. Now I am struggling a little bit with placement of where I'm going to put the photos and the pocket and everything like that. For some reason, it's just not going super well for me. I really like how this looks, right? Like the background, love, perfect. But then I try to get the photos on, and I'm like, what in the world are you even doing with this, Sandy? Like, you're covering up too much. That pier pillar looks like a phallic symbol when it's coming up from the pocket like that. And I'm like, no, something's got to change, because this is definitely not working. And I'm like, maybe I'll just get rid of the pocket and just do this. And I even thought about turning the pocket, but as I said, maybe I'll turn the pocket. I went, oh, what if I turn the entire page? Will that work? Well, guess what? It did not work, and you can see my frustration with it as I tossed those photos willy-nilly like that. And I was like, okay, well, maybe I just need to do this. Maybe I put the photo on top of the pocket. I'm like, no, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to trim this photo down, right? Now, the reason why I trimmed that photo down instead of the one with the phallic symbol on it is because if I trim that one down, then that would really just be like, what in the heck that is. But I think the fact that you have the aluminum railing there, along with the pier pole, that gives you more of a picture, right? Like more of a complete picture, and not kind of like, is she doing this as a joke or what's her life right now kind of thing. So I am going to actually figure out my life and figure out how I want this page to look, which is a good thing, right? Like figuring out how you want your layout to look is a good thing. I do layer the photos up on top of each other. I am not concerned that you're only seeing the top of the boat right there, you guys. Like, obviously, I've got two photos. It's not some sort of life-altering photograph. It's literally just the boat that we were on that took us from the pier across to the island of Alcatraz. So, right? Like, I'm like, okay, it's not anything humongously spectacular I got to worry about here. So I finally get that figured out for myself, which makes me feel great that that is actually done now. And then I am going to figure out how to pop this little frame over top of the pocket, because I want it to layer it over the pocket, but I need to be able to put something in the pocket, right? Because I'm going to journal on that pocket, or what's inside the pocket, rather. Now, you don't get to see me journal, and you don't get to see the journaling on the page, because I haven't done that yet, because I'm not feeling very journally in my heart right now, right? Like, I'm just not feeling it, and that is honesty, and that's how I'm feeling in the moment. So I'm not going to worry about it right now. It will get finished before the album is finished, right? Like, anything that needs to be on there, any last minute items, will all happen. So I'm not stressing out about it. I hope you're not stressing out about it. So yeah, I do decide that what I am going to do inside of that frame is actually going to be putting in some of this floral. And I specifically chose the floral that I did because it has some of the blue color, right? And that works for me. And there's also a blue sticker off to the side that I really want to use that it's going to match up pretty well. So I've got that figured out. Of course, I had to add in that sticker there. Now I end up bending the prong on this frame all the heck. So what I have to do is adhere it, but you know, it's a metal frame. So I go to my stuff over behind me. I'm going to grab some pop foam, and then I am going to go ahead and make sure that the pop foam gets on there and my frame is actually going to stick to the layout, right? Like it's not going to pop off. I don't have to worry about anything really funky or weird happening, which works for me, right? Like I don't want to work for or worry about funky, weird stuff happening. So now I'm going to adhere the front of the pocket back to the back of the pocket, so it is a complete pocket again. And now I've got that built out, so now it is time to kind of figure it out. And what I'm doing is pressing it down so that the adhesive actually adheses. And then I'm going to get that blue flower that I was talking about that I knew that I had, and I'm going to kind of nestle that around the metal frame. So after I nestle it around the metal frame, I'm like, I definitely need some fun foam under this, or the flower is going to kind of go bleh and fall down off to the side, and nobody needs their flowers to fall down off to the side like that, right? Like we're living our best lives right now. We don't need that in our lives. So I am going to go ahead and get that popped up, and then I'm going to add some Nuvo Deluxe adhesive to that pop foam. I'm also going to add it to the sticker, even though the sticker is a decently sticky sticker, just because I want that extra grip to hold on there. So now I've got that going on, and I got to figure out where I want to put this banner. Now, I really want it to use that banner to cover that little gap between the floral and the metal frame, but then I would have to pull up the metal frame, unpoke where the pokey hole is, and I'm like, no, it's not worth it to me. I will find a different way to put this on here. My first idea is to put it over there, but it just really doesn't work for me. It doesn't look great, basically. And I'm like, nope, I'm not feeling that. So what I do is bring it down here to the bottom, and I am feeling that a whole lot more, right? Like that is making me a lot happier with my scrappy life. I do think about bringing in that leafy bit right there because it is a similar color of what we've got going on in that floral, but ultimately that doesn't make it. Now I do decide to bring in the tiniest bit of pink, and that is because I do like pink. So we're just putting it on there. There also is a tiny, tiny, tiny little bit of pink showing in the floral paper that is within the frame. I decided to put this little banner piece here at the top of the pocket. As you can see, there's also some lined paper in that pocket because that is where the journaling will eventually go. You know, eventually when I get around to it, which is totally, totally fine. So then that is going to get finished. And I have this little word phrase that says, don't forget. Now I'm looking at these letters, and as you can see, I'm like trying to figure out what I can spell. And for some reason, I thought I could spell cruise, but I can't because I don't have any more S's. And I don't even realize that until I actually pick up or try to pick up the S. And I'm like, oh, when did that happen? Because I don't actually realize it. which is a pretty crying shame that I'm looking at the letters. I'm even like touching them to go through the letters to make sure I have them, and I don't. And it's just like, oh, Sandy, get it together. So it's not going to say cruise, and that's fine. It doesn't have to say cruise. I can come up with a different title than this. It doesn't have to be that one, right? So I put those letters back. I am going to make my letters work for me. I don't have any more O's either, but I do have this Q, and I'm going to cut off the little bits that make an O a Q. And then I'm going to go ahead and use that as an O instead, which works for me just beautifully, right? Like I'm happy to make that happen. So I'm going to go ahead and put that down so it will spell out the word boat. And then after I do that, I'm going to flip through to find the tile letters that are here in this sticker book, and I'm going to alternate the letters. What I mean by that is alternate the color of the letters, since I don't have all one color on the letters that I want to use. And I did not want to put the pink in there because I felt that that was going to be a little bit too much of a pop of pink. So now it says, don't forget boat ride. I do grab a pen and spell out the word the. So it says, don't forget the boat ride. Because, you know, sometimes grammar matters and sometimes it doesn't. And at this moment, I wanted it to not just be don't forget boat ride. So I go ahead and write that down. You can see it right there. Again, that journaling will happen. It's just not there. And then I'm feeling like the other side of this page is kind of naked, right? Like something else needs to go on over here. And I'm just trying to figure out what that is. So I decide to grab a couple of things. I have a little bingo card that I had cut out. And instead of it being tucked under so that it says bingo, I'm going to leave it just so that it says go, because I think that that's pretty cute. I'm also going to use these postage stamp stickers. One's green and one is pink, and I'm going to go ahead and just let that pink one pop out ever so slightly, because like I said, I just want a little pop of pink. I felt like for some continuity across the page, I would do another one of those label stickers just to have that circular shape on both sides of the layout. And then I'm going to figure out how to bring in some banners as well. So I'm going to mess around with this for a hot second because it's not exactly working out how I pictured it. Like it's not exactly showing in my head. It's not, okay, what I have in my head is not coming out on the page. Similar, so I am going to mess around with it until I get it to where I am happy with it. So I am going to go ahead and get those banners in there. And then I couldn't get the banner to stay. I was like, stick down, dang it, so I can get this part of the layout done because it's holding me back. So I'm going to go ahead and make that happen finally. And then now I'm going to add some decoration. So I grab these fake sticky brads. They're fake brads, you guys. They shouldn't even be allowed to call them adhesive brads, right? Because the whole thing of a brad is that it has brad tines. And if you don't have brad tines, you can't be a brad. You're just a little circular medallion thing, right? You can't be a brad. Hashtag you can't be a brad. All right, I don't know why, but that is tickling my funny bone right now. Okay, so I do add in the you can't be a brads. Hashtag you can't be a brad. And then a couple of faceted enamel dots. And that's going to do it for this layout, you guys. Thank you so much for joining. Thanks for watching. And I will see you guys again real soon for another video.